All right, this is the last video going over your study guide. We're going over number 17 and 18. Let's look at number 17. The 5th grade field trip is next month. Each student will get exactly 1 apple for snack. Mrs. Jones bought 100 pounds of apples for the field trip. Each apple weighs 5 ounces. Are there enough apples to serve 350 students? Show your work and explain why or why not. So let's talk about what we know. We know that each student is going to get exactly 1 apple. Miss Jones bought 100 pounds of apples, and each apple weighs 5 ounces. We need to try to figure out, are there enough apples to serve 350 students? So we've got 100 pounds of apples, and every apple weighs 5 ounces. Well, I can't do anything with it right now because it's talking about pounds and ounces. And I can't do any sort of math when I have 2 different units of measurement. So the first thing I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to convert one measurement to another. For me, it's easier to go big to small, multiply them all, because multiplication is easier than division. So I'm going to take my 100 pounds, and I'm going to convert that into ounces, because I can go big to small, multiply. And I can just multiply by 100, which is pretty simple. So let's pull back up our conversion chart, and let's figure out where it talks about pounds and ounces, right here. 1 pound equals 16 ounces. So I'm going to need to multiply it by 16. I love multiplying by 100 because I can use my trick. I take my 1/6 and I add my 2 zeros on. So I can see that 100 pounds is equivalent to 1,600 ounces. So Miss Jones bought 100 pounds of apples, or 1,600 ounces of apples. Now, every apple is going to weigh 5 ounces. So I need to figure out how many apples there are in this bag. I need to figure out how many apples are in my bag. Okay, so that's division. I'm going to divide my 1,600 ounces into groups of 5 ounces to show how many apples there are. So I'm going to say 5 into 1,600. Again, I've got my hundreds, tens, and ones as my think box. 5 times 100 is going to give me 500. Well, I could fit 500 in here. Well, what if I did 5 times 200? 5 times 2 is 10. Add 2 zeros on. That gives me 1,000. I can get 1,000 in here. Well, what about 5 times 3? 5 times 3, or 5 times 300. 5 times 3 is 15. Add on those 2 zeros. That's 1,500. Okay, that's pretty close. So I'm going to start off multiplying by 300. 3 times 5 is 15. Add on my 2 zeros. Subtract it out. 0 minus 0 is 0. 0 minus 0 is 0. 6 minus 5 is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. So I have 100 left. I can't do any more hundreds because 5 times 100 is 500, and that's too big. So let's do 5 times 10. 5 times 10 is 50, which could fit in there. Well, what about 5 times 20? Well, 5 times 2 is 10. Add on that extra 0. Well, that gives me 100. Hey, that'd be perfect. So let's do 5 times 20. 5 times 2 is 10. Add on that extra 0. Subtract it out, and I get a 0 as a remainder. So if I were to add these up, 300 plus 20 is 320. So I have 320 apples, because every apple weighs 5 pounds. Now, how many students were there again? 350 students. So do I have enough apples to serve 350 students? Well, my answer using P of Q would say no. Oops. There are not enough apples to serve 350 students. I need to explain how I know. I know this because 100 pounds equals 1,600 ounces, comma, and if every apple is 5 ounces, then there are only 320 apples in the 1,600 ounces. No, there are not enough apples to serve 315 students. I know this because 100 pounds equals 1,600 ounces. And if every apple is 5 ounces, then there are only 320 apples in the 1,600 ounces. All right. That wasn't too bad. Had to do a little bit of converting, a little division. But those are all things that I've learned in 5th grade, so that was easy enough. All right, let's look at the last problem on our study guide. At a lunch buffet, Anna's steak weighs 6 ounces and Kate's steak weighs 8 ounces. Jake's steak weighs as much as Anna's steak and Kate's steak combined. What is the total weight of the 3 steaks? Let's underline what we know. Anna's steak weighs 6 ounces. Kate's steak weighs 8 ounces. Jake's steak weighs as much as Anna's steak and Kate's steak combined. That's addition right there. What is the total weight of the 3 steaks? That's addition there. So I can see that this is going to be a 2-step problem. So step 1 is I got to figure out what's Jake's steak weigh. Because Anna's equals 6 ounces. Kate's equals 8 ounces. But Jake's is going to equal Anna plus Kate's, or 6 plus 8. I know that 6 plus 8 equals 14. So Jake's steak must weigh 14 ounces. But it doesn't ask me how much does Jake's steak weigh. It asks me what is the total weight of the 3 steaks. So I need to add all these up. So I need to add 14 plus 6 plus 8. 4 plus 6 is 10, plus 8 is 18. Carry the 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. So my answer is 20 ounces. But if there are words in the problem, there's words in my answer. So I'm going to use P of Q. What is the total weight of the 3 steaks? The total weight of the 3 steaks, is 28 ounces. Circle it so Miss Ross knows where to look. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is your study guide gone over in 4 videos. Hopefully these videos helped you. Hopefully you went back and looked over the ones that you missed and you were able to find your error and correct it. Your test will look very similar to this study guide. So as long as you understand the study guide and how you got the answers that you got, you should do fantastic on your test. Good luck. Come to me with any questions you might have. Have a great evening.